to your classics. Master your classics, because if you can do a classic well, you can do anything well.
And all these are happening without any woodworking backgrounds? You were more fascinated in restoring than smoking?
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
that's weird.
And it was one of those things, it was like, okay, if I restore this pipe, to its former glory, I'll be able to smoke this pipe and enjoy it.
To give us a roadmap to be a self-taught pipe maker.
And it's going to take a lot of trial and error. And I will tell you, I think 50% of pipe making is just figuring it out.
Hey, what's up, guys? This is Ryan from Smoke and Barrel Briars. Arash and Mehdi have asked me for a tour of my shop, so come on in and I'll show it off to you guys. Over here, I have my dies, just various tools, a little tobacco stash, the files that I use on a regular basis for stem work or detail work. I got a few pipes that I'm working on here in the next couple weeks. I have my shop pipes out here. They're not very nice because they're shop pipes, something that I don't mind dropping and busting up if it has to. This is my bench top where I do most of my detail work, my hand sanding, my stem cutting, all that's done right here. This is my briar stash, probably got a few hundred blocks down there hiding. And then this is my lathe. It's a Precision Matthews 1030. I keep magnetic bars on it up here. These are the bits that I use pretty much on a daily basis, so I just have quick access to them. These are the bits that I don't use that often, but I still have space for them. I have my military mount kits. I have my chamber bits. I have my freehand chamber bits. Just all kinds of stuff that you use. When I do have to hand shape anything, I do keep my hand chisels here. So I've changed my tool post out to a solid bar so I can use my hand chisels. But other than that, it's all carbide tip metalworking tools. Over here is where I keep all my accent material. I got all kinds of woods, mammoth, surfite, oxhorn, antique bakelite. There's all kinds of stuff in here. Ebonite rods, resin rods. This is bamboo, Delrin, and then my brass tubing for military mounts. And then over here, it's kind of the back wall of the shop. Obviously, AC unit. This is where I cut the buttons in on my stems, square up blocks, bandsaw, and then this is where I do most of my shaping. I've got it on a variable frequency drive, so I can control the speed of the wheel to turn it up and down. I've made all these different wheels for different grits, so I can get in there and work a little tighter. I do have a 4-stage water collector system and a desiccant filter because here in Texas, it gets very hot during the summer. And if you don't put this by your cabinet, you're going to wind up with wet media. This is my sandblasting cabinet. This is just my little grinding wheel if I need to cut any kind of high-speed steel or sharpen my lawnmower blades or whatever. Bench vise. And this was the original lathe that I started with, years ago. And I used it for years up until maybe a couple years ago when I got the big lathe. But this was the original wood lathe I started on, and it has since been repurposed to a buffing station. So I have these arbors that I can switch out. I can run my different compounds and then my different finishing compounds. It works awesome for that. I haven't cut anything on it in years. It's just primarily a buffing station now. And then I got a drill press, and that's about all the tooling that I actually use in here. I built the drop ceiling a couple years ago because my shop has really high vaulted ceilings. And even though it's insulated, it still gets really hot in here. And so I built this drop ceiling in here just so that the AC unit will only have to cool this small space. Same way in the wintertime. It's not heating the entire roof of the shop. It's just heating this space, heating and cooling this space. Like I said, it has really tall ceilings. So I do have lofts on both sides that go up another 8 feet. And so I have a lot of tools. I have ladders, all kinds of stuff. This isn't just the pipe shop. This is my everything shop. So all my lawn care equipment's in here, like all my tools for working on the boat and the trucks and all that kind of stuff. everything is in here. So it's not just a dedicated pipe making space. This is an everything shop. So I know it looks a little cluttered, but I know where everything is in here. And then when my son was born, we stopped smoking pipes in the house. And we decided to make like a dedicated place where we could smoke pipes. And so there's a projector on the back wall. We'll set up some chairs in here. Sometimes I'll come out here and just have a pipe, and then we put it on a projection screen. So we watch movies on the projection screen that drops down. It's I think it's 6 feet, 6x6. So it's a pretty big screen. So it's like going to the movies out in your shop where you can smoke your pipe. But I don't know if I mentioned it. I've only posted this thing on social media one time. I've never been asked for like a shop tour. So I hope this is all right with you guys.
You started introducing yourself as an artisan pipe maker. Do you consider yourself an artisan pipe maker?
Of course.
Yes. Define the artisan pipe maker for us. Who is an artisan pipe maker?
Because I feel like the pipes that most artisan makers put out, it's a form of functional art, right? And so it kind of
Yes, of course.
It's kind of a gray area, you know. It's not just art to stick on a wall or stick on a mantle to appreciate and enjoy. It's a piece of functional artwork, you know, because every single one of us has a different style, you know, and it incorporates different things into their pipes. And so I think, yeah, I am an artisan pipe maker because of the art aspect and because I bring my own personal style into what I'm producing. It's just like every other one of the artisans out there. I can try to duplicate someone else's work, but it's not going to look exactly like theirs because I'm not them. And so I think that's what sets us apart as artisan carvers is we bring our own style and characteristics into each pipe.
All right. You know, there's another question that I've wrote. Do you believe that you have found a unique style in your pipe making?
That's kind of a hard one. Like I know that some guys have their signature shapes, you know, and it's shapes that only they make. And I don't know that I have a signature shape. But
the unique style is not about shapes. It's about style.
Well, and that's kind of what I was getting to is, you know, I think if you had 10 pipes in a lineup, I think that someone would be able to point out which one that I've made. I would hope so. But I don't know that, I don't know that I've kind of refined it to stand out as much as I would hope so. But
of course, you're making pipes for 5 years. It's still young.
Yeah, it's very young.
Your pipe making is very young.
And I've really only done this full time for about 2 years now, and I feel like in those 2 years there's been a lot of growth because I've had the time to dedicate to it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like just now I'm kind of finding my groove in things.
Someone comes and asks, what is unique in this pipe or in your style? Can you name some? What kind of unique things do you do in your pipe? Is there any?
Yeah, I mean
your sandblast, your ferrules, your stem work.
Yes,
anything.
I think especially over the last year, I've kind of refined my sandblasting process. And it's gotten a lot better. My stem work, I feel very confident in my stem work. I put a lot of time into every stem because that's the most, to me anyways, that's the most important part of the pipe. You know, that's the part that you're in contact with the most. And so it needs to be perfect. It needs to be comfortable to clench. You know, it needs to sit in the mouth right. You know, it needs to be fluted well. It needs to be both internally and externally polished. You know, it needs to look right. So I am very confident in my stem work. I think that's something that I pride myself on just because it is the most intimate part of the pipe. But I don't know. I don't think of individual components of the pipe and making, you know, something that stands out more than the other. I think of it as a total package, and I like to do everything
Yes.
to the best of my abilities for that pipe.
How about your pipe collection? Are you pipe collecting?
I am, yeah. Just because, and that's something that, like, I just had this talk with a friend of mine in Chicago not long ago. It's like, it's just because I can make pipes doesn't mean that I don't appreciate pipes. And so I still buy pipes from other artisans, and I still collect pipes just because I have such a deep appreciation for it. I think most pipe makers
How
are
many
probably the
pipes do you
same.
have?
Oh, I don't even know. I probably have 30 on the rack downstairs
40?
and probably another 20 or 30 out in the shop, and they just kind of rotate in and out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I have a lot.
All right, and they are all handmade.
The majority of them are handmade. I still have
Majority.
like a couple old cobs,
All
and
right,
like
nice.
my first one. I think I have one. I have a Dunhill, and I have. Let's see. I have an old Peterson, and I kept that one for sentimental reasons. I got that one from a friend of mine who has passed away, and so whenever I think about him, I'll pull out the Peterson and I'll smoke that every now and then. But the majority of my pipes are all handmades.
All right, good for you. And the last. And the last question is, how do you see the future of pipe making? Are you? Of course, you told this, you mentioned this. You're seeing an uprising in pipe making and pipe smoking, in general.
Oh yeah,
In the whole community, all around the world, aren't you?
yeah. It's every. I see it all the time through social media. I'll get a new follower, and like I'll look at their page, and it'll say something like, "Oh, I'm just starting this journey," and this happens multiple times a week. Every time I go to a show, if I've been to I've been to Vegas, I've been to the Texas show, I've been to Chicago. I did a event in Georgia for Smitty's last summer, and so I go to these pipe shows, and every single time I go to a pipe show, I meet 10, 15 people that are like, "Oh, this is my first pipe show. I'm just now starting out into this," and so I think that's a good thing. I think it's beautiful. And like I was saying, I think it is it's a luxury in today's fast-paced world, and I think that's what draws people in. And I do notice that the age ranges are getting younger and younger, and it's funny because pipe smoking kind of has this stigma around it, like it's an old man thing. This is something that your grandfather did, and something that your dad did, and now you're starting to see like guys in their 20s that are starting to smoke a pipe, and I think it's awesome. And so yeah, I do think that it is on an upward trajectory, and I do think that there is a lot of hope in the future for pipes and pipe smoking.
All right. The last comment that I received from someone in the street, I was smoking my pipe, and she saw me and said, "You smoking a pipe?" I said, "Yep." And she said, "That's unique. You're not 70 years old." I was like, "Yes, I'm not. I'm just around 40, and there are so many people in our club that are 20, and that old saying that pipe smoking is for old people is gone.
It's gone.
It's long gone. And there are so many people, young people,
But
smoking
you don't
pipes.
realize that until you're in the community. Once you start meeting people and you start going to shows, you don't realize that, because when I'm out in public with a pipe, it's the same thing. Oh, that reminds me of my grandpa. Oh, that reminds me of my dad. Or that reminds me of my great grandpa. And so people always associate it with older folks. But I think that stigma is starting to change because there are so many new people that are getting into the hobby.
And as I told in one other video, I believe, pipe smoking has done a great job, has done a miracle, I believe, with all those restrictions and all the governments are fighting us, are killing us. Absolutely. They're trying to ban everything, and the taxes and the restrictions and regulations. That mostly seems ridiculous.
All of
But
it's ridiculous
pipe
if you ask me.
smoking, yeah, pipe smoking stand the test of time and is standing the test of time, and still people are getting engaged and are having fun with that, and this is like a miracle.
It is.
It absolutely is.
And I think it has to do with
I believe it is because that tradition, that solitude, as you told, that's what pipe standing is based on, and people who get familiar with that, that's exactly what they love in this, as you said, fast-paced world. There is something that you can do for yourself very calmly, very relaxed, and that starts as a weird thing mostly, but when you get used to it, that becomes very valuable. Oh, all right.
Uh-oh.
Let me see who is that. All right. Why do you believe that this miracle is happening? That the pipe smoking is standing the test of time with all these barriers.
I think it has a lot to do with tradition. You know, it's one of those things. It's deeply rooted in tradition, and I think tobacco rubs a lot of people the wrong way because when you start talking about tobacco, they just automatically assume cigarettes and cigars, which are off-putting to a lot of people. But you ask anybody about a pipe, all of a sudden it brings back all these fond memories. They start thinking about their great-grandfathers and their grandfathers and their fathers. And so it brings back all this nostalgia, and all these good feelings. It doesn't have anything to do with cigarettes or cigars, like I said, which
even
are
good pictures,
right?
Good images of people remembering someone relaxing with his pipe.
Yes, presidents, leaders, stuff like that. Sit back with a pipe, and so it's always been I think pipe smoking in general has always been a very positive thing, and it doesn't have anything to do with the bad stigmas that are attached to tobacco in general. And so I think it is making a comeback because it is deeply rooted in tradition. But also, like I was saying earlier, is that this is a very fast-paced world that we live in. And this is one of the few things, for me anyway, one of the few things that allows me to kind of take a step out of that and sit down and focus in on something else. And I think that resonates deeply with a lot of people that are looking for a break in this fast-paced society that we live in.
At the end, I'm just gonna give you a good news. I believe that we're gonna free from this political tyranny in this year. I believe, or I hope. And I would we as all the club do. We have a pipe of the year every year. And I just wanted to avert you, if we are free and the transition and transportation between Iran and the United States is free and it's open, we would love to commission our pipe of the year this year or maybe next year from you, because I love your classic. I do love your classic. You posted a pipe. It was 15 grams. It was
I made one for my
chimney.
Yeah, I made one for myself the other day.
It was a black chimney.
Yeah, it was 11 grams. It was the smallest pipe I've ever made.
Yes, it was absolutely stunning. And put aside the weight, it was beautiful. I loved that.
Thank you.
I really
Thank you.
did. So this year or maybe next year, if we are free, God will, we are gonna commission something like 40, 50 pipes from you.
So I will tell you, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I stopped taking commissions a few years ago, just because.
Oh, come on!
Yeah,
you're gonna make us,
and I'll tell you why.
Pipe of the year. Come on!
I'll tell you why. So it got to the point where when I was taking commissions, and not that I don't appreciate all the work that was given to me over the years, it got to where I was making pipes for everyone else, right? When the customer has a lot of input with a pipe, it no longer looks like something that I would make.
That's absolutely,
and so
absolutely
I
understandable.
wasn't proud of what I was putting out. I wasn't proud to put my stamp on some of those, and it was just doing it to make someone else happy. And some of the requests, you know, like you got guys that don't know how to make a pipe trying to tell you how to make a pipe, and so there's a lot of things that that don't mesh well, and it's a lot of back and forth, and then you know, there's a lot of guys that you spend a week talking to them, building the perfect pipe, and then you get the response like, oh, let me go ask my wife, you know. And so it's like I just shut it down altogether. But I will tell you, I do take the occasional commission as long as I'm given kind of free reign on the project. If I'm given total artistic freedom, if they say, hey man, you know, I love your Lavots, or I love your billiards, or I love your apples, or, you know, I love whatever, I would just be happy to have a Dublin that you made. Something like that, then I will take those all day long, because it still lets me do what I do best and the things that I enjoy to do.
Of course, or pipe of the year is absolutely, every year is one of the pipes that pipe maker have built. That's my tradition. There is nothing new. If I'm gonna commission some pipes from you, you're gonna make some 4D pipes from a painting that you have made before, from one of your pipes. We are just gonna make it ourselves, with the color of the pipe, with the some small details. That's it. But absolutely, that would be your pipe, a pipe that you have built before.
And I'll tell you like this too. So kind of what you're saying is, like there's some guys that say, oh, I only want a sandblasted finish, or I only want, you know, brown, or I want this color or that color. So you're working with something that comes from nature, right? And nothing in nature is ever perfect, right? So I can tell you, like, I've cut 2 pipes from the same block, and they've blasted different. They colored different, you know, because of where they are in the grain.
Yes, of course.
And so if someone's like, well, I want this with a contrast and a sandblast, and I get into it and the grain is phenomenal, it's flawless, I'm not going to blast that pipe. It's too beautiful to blast. So I'm going to have to make it a smooth. And so rather than just going back and forth with someone, I just make the best pipe for each individual block of briar, and each block is different.
That's understandable.
So every pipe is different.
Yes, that is why you are called an artisan pipe maker.
An artisan,
I can understand.
That's correct. And then
I have so many pipe.
and I don't produce.
I have so many artisan pipe maker friends. So I know I absolutely understand what you're saying. There are some of my friends who are making pipes, and they're exactly like this. But you need to be more cooked. I'll cook you to do that.
Oh, and that's another thing is like I've never done a club pipe because I don't produce that many pipes every year, and so I can't spend half of my time for the year just working on 40 or 50 pipes, because that's half of what I do in the entire year. And so I'd be out 6-8 months not making pipes. I wouldn't be able to go to shows. I wouldn't be able to list anything. And so,
all right.
Yeah, I wish I could help you, man. I really do. And like I said, I apologize. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news.
Kind of you. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Man, I just I wanted to take a second to again thank you for this interview and allowing me to come on your platform and talk a little bit. And
our pleasure.
I appreciate all of it. And it was really nice talking with you. And I hope that we can stay in touch and we can stay in contact. And, I would love to do this again down the road sometime.
Of course. Kind of you, and our honor and pleasure. Thanks for talking to us. See you in the next one.
See you, buddy.
That was great. That was a lot of fun for me. I sincerely hope that it was fun for you too. And Brian was very, very kind to accept this, to talk to us, and I had a great time. I really hope you had too. For you watching this, if we have a whole playlist of English version videos. There's some interviews, there's some tutorials, so take a look at that playlist and take some time. If you ever gonna consider supporting us, your subscription would be more than enough. Like us and do us a comment, write us a comment. that those are very, very, very useful. And introduce us to your friends, to other people with English language. And that's it. I had a great time. Hope you had too. And until the next time, I sincerely hope your next bowl is your best bowl.